So let's get the session started. So the basically this is the second webinar session, as you know, which is on introduction to web development, under which we'll be discussing about CSS. That is one of the most important web development languages. The first session was about HTML. So before going in brief about CSS, uh, let us go through the topics that were discussed in webinar one. So what are the topics? So we discussed about what is web development, building a website for personal or professional use. So it is divided into two parts, that is front end and back end, that is client side and server side, and the software that we use, that is Visual Studio Code, and what is HTML, why is HTML used. So it handles all the document elements. So a few important concepts such as tags and attributes were discussed, and class and id. Class and id is important when it comes to CSS, so we'll be discussing more regarding that. So then HTML styles and JavaScript. So how JavaScript can be added by using script tag, and how it can be styled in HTML itself. So speaking about styling, let's dive deep into CSS. Introduction to CSS. So as the name suggests, it is cascading styling and styling the sheets. So the cascading means making the layout. So different websites will have different layouts. So in some websites, the image might be somewhere, and in a different website will have different layouts. So that is called as cascading. And styling, you might all know what styling is. And sheets. These sheets are from HTML sheets. So together it is cascading, styling the sheets, as the name suggests. So CSS describes how HTML elements should be displayed, and it can control the layout of multiple web pages all at once. So let me give you with an example how CSS will have an effect. Here there is an extension called as Web Developer extension. So I'll just disable all the CSS. So without CSS, see how the website looks without CSS, just the HTML part. See, there is nothing in the website except text. So all this is added in text, all these contents. So I'll enable the CSS back. Then you can see how the website looks. By this itself, you can understand how CSS plays a major role. So there are three different ways in which CSS can be added. One is inline, internal, and external. So inline is a method like in HTML, as we had previously studied, we can add through inline method. That is by adding within the tag. Let me show you an example. Uh, I'll use a paragraph tag. So this is a doc type syntax that you can add just by typing doc and enter. So paragraph, I'll add style as style, and I'll add background color as some color, and I'll add a text heading. So I'll open it with live server. See, this is how it looks. This is called as inline CSS, first type of making adding the style. So one more type is I'll remove this styling. So one more type of styling is adding within the head using style tag. This is called as internal CSS by using style tag within the head part. And this is a syntax for styling. So I'll use the paragraph. So this works the same way. So here there is no inline styling. See, even this works the same way. So these are the two types how you can style a web page. That is internally. These are called as internally and inline because it is present in the same HTML page. Now, what about if you want to add in a separate page? So just create a new file called, I have already created new file, sorry. I'll create a new file. I'll create a new file. To create a new file, click on new file, style.css. The file name can be anything. The extension should be the same, .css. So after you have created, now you have to link this page to this page, the CSS page to HTML page. All you have to do is add a link tag. So all the attributes will appear. Just type dot and slash. Dot and slash is to choose the directory. Now if I press dot and slash, all the contents that are there in the folder will be available. So I want to link style page. So now HTML page is linked to style page. So now whatever style you write in the style page will get added to index page, this page. That was the three types. External CSS is used for lengthy pages of, or if there is a multiple pages that you want to style differently. So external CSS is used. Separate file is created. So website layout. So website is divided into many parts. Like there are different sections in a website. So few among them is one is header section. Header section consists of logo and link one, link two. So these are the links that are for separate pages or might be the same sections in the same pages. Then comes the main section. So main section consists of everything like background, even the profile icons. All this comes under main section. Then last comes the footer section. So in the footer section, there might be social media icons, or even copyright info, or even contact us comment section will come under footer section. So including all this, so the website will be finished like this form. So let us move further. See, speaking about CSS syntax, there are many parameters that we can add. So this is how by using a tag name will use in CSS. So in the left hand side, you can see how it is used in HTML, and in the right hand side, you can see how it is used in CSS. This is a paragraph. Now I want to style this sentence. So it is enclosed within the paragraph tag. Now by using the same paragraph tag, it is called as a selector. By using the paragraph tag, P is called as the selector. Now here the P is selector, and now we should declare what styling we should do. So for declaring, we should use a property. So now the property here is color, and the value is red. So color, value, property, and value. The same goes to the text align and center, property and value. So in two more ways we can call a HTML. Suppose if you want a specific styling, so I want this sentence to be specifically styled. So I can define it with a class. So suppose consider there is a three sentence. So I want the same styling for first sentence as well as the third sentence, but not for the second sentence. So what I'll do is I'll use the same class name for first and third sentence. So by using that, we can style it differently. So one catch here is to mention whether it is a class or if it is a tag name, we can call it directly. So if it is a class, like if you mention as class, we should use dot. In the CSS, we should use it as dot, paragraph, open flat bracket, close flat bracket, and within that, all the declaration should be done. Same goes to the ID, but here we should mention it as hash. So the difference between class and ID is class can be used many times, but ID is a unique value. So speaking about fonts, so there are different CSS fonts. There are different fonts. Either fonts are available with the languages, or we can add different fonts. Fonts makes the website look more attractive. Fonts and icons. So there are different properties for which we can assign the values, such as font variant, font style, font weight, font size, line height, and font family. So there are few libraries which provide fonts and icons. So we can just use those library. So let me show you libraries of fonts. So this is the Google Fonts. So this is the library. So here all we have to do is, so this is the library where we'll get all the fonts. So if you want some font, so let's go. Okay. Suppose I need this font, so I'll select the font. So then just like we use in Amazon, like add to cart, we can select the font that we need. Just select the style. So now this font has been added. So suppose we need different font, so we can even select that font. So now two fonts has been added. So I'll select the font family. Now this is called as Content Delivery Network, CDN. That is, we can deliver all the information that is there in this library to our web page just by copying this link and pasting it within the head section of all the links must be pasted within the head section of the website. So just copying that link and pasting it in this, all the font has been added to HTML page. The same we have to do it for CSS. Just by copying the CSS will have a CSS font family here. So we'll use a body tag, and within that enclosure, I'll add this. These are the font families. Different font families have a different font role, different font type. Okay, I'll save this both things. The font has been added. In a similar way, you can download icons. So this is a website where you can download icons for your website. Just either you can download it in .svg form, or you can download a package. So these are the libraries that provide. You can download the package, add a link, just like similar to this, and you can import all the data. So yeah. So CSS box model. This is one of the important concept in CSS. So see, consider there is a box. Consider there is a box, and you have a book within a box, and consider this book as the content. So if you want to adjust the height and width of the book, you can adjust it by CSS, height and width, just the content, height and width of the book. And if you want to move the book within the box, you can use padding. Just by increasing padding from the top, you can move it down like that. You can change the direction of the book. So consider this border as the box. Suppose you want to move the box containing book, the box itself. You can vary the margin. Just like this, the border is a like if you want to make the changes within the border, use padding. If you want to make changes to the border, use margin. So the same property, CSS margin and CSS padding. But here I'll tell how to apply this. So margin. So margin, you can add individually, like margin top, margin left, margin right, and margin bottom, or you can add it in all together. So see, there is a pattern in which you should add. So it is clockwise direction. Remember, it is clockwise direction. First comes top, then comes right, then comes bottom, and then comes left. So in that order, you should add. The same goes for a three-way. So first one is four-way. In the image, you can see the first one is a four-way, and second one is a three-way. That first refers to top, second refers to right and left, and third refers to bottom. And fourth one is just the two-way. That refers to if the top and bottom, if you need a same length, that is 5. And left and right, if you need, that is 10. So here, what is px? Px is a pixels in which you measures. Okay, in CSS we are using pixels to measure the length. So 96 okay, 96 pixels is equal to 1 inch if you want in measuring unit. So okay, so okay, even for padding it's the same. We have individual property as well as the separate property. We can combine it all together. Just the difference is padding is for the inside the container, and margin is for the outside the container. If you want to make changes. So I have already created a head section. Head section is a navigation bar that will be there in the top of the website. So I'll start styling the head section. So I'll uncomment it. So this is a section I have already written using HTML. Only HTML part has been defined. Like I have used division tag, to division tag, and I have defined a class. And this is the image. I have added the image logo. And so all the images I have downloaded and I have added in the separate image folder. So you would use the source and navigation. This is a nav tag. I have used it described in terms of list, and rest of the icons I have downloaded in SVG format, and even that I have added as image. So let me style these things. So before styling, so let me show you how it look without styling. So this is how it looks without styling. See. So first let's begin with reducing the size of these icons. So before starting with the CSS, there are a few presets that we should that should be added. That is margin equal to 0, margin equal to 0 pixels, 0 pixels, padding equal to 0 pixels. So why we are doing this? Because unless and until margin and padding is used, so there is no need of extra additional adding of padding. So it will remain 0 unless it is called for. So now let's type. So now we should style the icons. So the class of icons is these are icons images. So the class for icon is dot social. For class, how I'll be defining is dot social, then flower bracket. Then within social, I want to style this, so I'll use the class. I'll set a height of 23 pixels. So yeah, let us see how it looks in the browser. See, the height has been set. So I even set a margin for social. Okay, margin left. Margin left, I'll set a margin. So it is on the left side. I set it as 8 pixels. Now I have set margin to its left, so the distance has been applied. So now now the next part is now we have to align everything in a straight line. So there is one property called as display flex. We'll be using that. So the header is the container that contains all the elements. Like it contains the logo, it contains the links, it contains even the icons. So we should style to header, so that if header, so as it is a tag name, so we'll be defining it directly. Header. Now I'll be styling the header. So I'll be using display as flex. Display as flex. Now if I use display as flex, all the things will get aligned in a straight line. So it not completely because individual elements, I have aligned it for individual elements. So now I'll align it for individual elements. So it is one way of calling the class, and another way of calling the class is navigation and nav links. So this class, and so both the side class name should be the same. Even a small spelling mistake, there won't be any changes. And the class name should not be equal to tag name. This class name should not be img. So there are chances of classes. So I'll style all three these tags together. So I'll set display as flex. I'll set display as flex. So now all the things will be applied to a straight line. Will appear in a straight line. See, everything has been applied to straight line. Now next, what I have to do is I have to add a space in between them. So how to add a space in between them? To add a space in between them. So let us use. So first I need to add a space in between navigation. Sorry. I'll use something called as flex. This is a property flex as one. So when I set flex as one, it takes the entire length and it pushes the rest everything to the corner. So it takes the entire length and pushes everything to the corner. See, this axis has been applied. So the same thing I'll do. So now what I can do is I'll use the same method to make it into three equal parts so that everything takes a similar spacing. So I'll use the same property, copy the flex property. I'll use dot um, and last one is dot icons. Now all the changes has been applied. So if you want to see how the changes it is, just add a background color to that. Just add a background color. So I'll add some random background color. So I'll use the same. So I'll change the color of it. So I'll change the color to red. So let us see how it will be visible. See, the changes for this and this has been applied. For this, it has not been applied. So this is how it looks. So we got to know where the error is. So this is a class name. So we should add the style to a container. So nav is containing everything. So we have to add it to nav. As it is a tag name. Now it has been added equally into three different parts. It has been divided. Now it is from end to end. Let us bring it a little inward. So I'll make styling in the header because it is a main container. I'll set a width as 95%. So percentage in the sense it is percentage related to the width of the screen. If the screen is screen width is less, even the this gets adjusted width according to screen. So 95% has been adjusted. So it is at the corner. We don't want it at the corner. We want it at both ends. So what we can do is we can set a margin as auto. So when we set margin as auto, so it automatically assigns this here 2.5%, here 2.5% on the both the sets. So there are few. And one more, we can set the height. We can set the height as 10 VH. So VH is a viewport height. So why we are setting the height is we can set the height and we can set the make all the contents to the center so that it will be in order. So we can align items. There is a property called as align items center. You can take down all this tags property and this. See, now all the things has come to center of that height. So 10 VH will be around so much. So all the things has been come to the center of that height. So let me remove all these colors because as its purpose has been. See, the next thing we can do is we can move this icon to the corner. So to do that, let me use this itself. Okay, there is a property called as justify content. Justify content. So already this is a flex. So we can use a property called as flex end. So what this does is it moves to the end of this flex. So now it is pushed to the corner, flex end. So now we have to make changes to this. We have to remove this bullet points, we have to remove underline, and we can even add color. So how to do that? So to style it individually, we can make use of this class navlinks and navlink, two class which has been defined. So navlinks. So by using navlinks, there is something called as list style. There is no need to remember all the properties. If you just remember the starting part, then the rest will Visual Studio Code will help you out. So the list style, as I'll set it as none, so there won't be any style. So the bullets won't be visible. So I'll set a space in between them. So I even need a space in between them. So even for that, there is a property called as justify content. The property name is same, but the value is different. Justify content space around. Just by giving this, the bullet points are gone, and even the spacing is applied. Now overall has been done. Now I should do changes individually for the colors and to remove the underline. Nav links. I'll remove the nav link. Okay. So speaking about colors, so let me explain more about colors. Okay. CSS text. So CSS text, which will be doing further. So text decoration, overline. If we give a text decoration as overline, upon that text there will be a line, and we can align the text as center, left, right, or we can align it multiply, like top, middle, top, left, middle, right. Uh, or we can, font family, right? Font size and font style also we can arrange. So CSS colors. This is one of the most important concept when it comes to CSS. That is, we can use colors. So there are different units in which you can write a CSS. One is RGB method, and one is hexadecimal value. So the most used is hexadecimal value. In that, first comes the hash, and then rest comes the color. Here it is given in terms of 6 characters. It can be either alphabetical or either number. The first 2 characters are dedicated to red. The second two is for green, and the third two is for last two is for blue. So all we have to do is see there are different colors based on shades. See in the image you can see just by changing the number and character, the value gets changed. So the same goes with the hue saturation. So there is one more property called as hue saturation and lightness. So by varying the saturation and lightness, you might have seen in your olden days TVs, just by increasing the brightness, saturation, lightness. The same goes with the images and colors. You can vary the saturation and lightness. There is a property called as RGBA. This is just like RGB. RGB alpha. Alpha is an additional property where you can set a opacity. So suppose there is a color red, and if you want to make it a bit light, you can set the alpha into 0.5 or something like that. It will be a bit light. The same goes with the HSLA. So next comes CSS links. So there are different property under links. So you might have seen in a website, see, suppose there is a link, and after you click it, the color of the link changes. So we can set all those styling by using link property. So if we can set a different color if it is link is already has been visited, or or if you hover over it. So hover is an important concept. So what is hover is when you move a cursor over the button color changes. That is because of the hover effect. So you can set a CSS links based on the hover effect. So colors. In colors, we can set a two different colors as gradient, as shading. So that is linear gradient and radial gradient. So background image. So this is given as not as background color, but as a background image. So here a property, like a linear gradient, you have to set it as linear gradient, and then you have to mention the direction. So whether it is to right, whether it is to left, or then you should mention two or more colors continuously. So it is as it is a gradient, you have to mention two or more colors. So this is for a linear gradient, and one more is for radial gradient. That is for a circular in a circular pattern. Okay, before going to buttons, so let me show you all these colors, how it is used. So let me set a color as hash, and I have taken the color as, okay, 4949664. So how to get these colors? So there are few websites which provides different colors, such as for example, take this. This is a Coolest is a website where you can select different colors for a website. Okay, suppose I want this color. So there is a hexadecimal value, six-digit value. So you can just click on it. The value has been copied. Just by adding hash, I can take this value. This is a color themes. There is different website called as HTML color codes. In this, you can see how the color varies just by wearing the number. See, just by wearing the number and characters, the color different patterns. So you can use the same Decibel code. So just you can copy and you can paste it if you need it. So color codes. Then next I'll text decoration. So this is a text property, text decoration. I'll set it as none. So there won't be an underline. See, I have removed the underline. I have added the color. So that will be the ending of navigation bar. So let us move further. So moving further, I have divided the body section into two main parts. Header is already defined. So one more is main section. So the HTML part I have already written. So this is the main section where I have defined the one part of it. So I have added the things that I have added is one, I have added the two text, like one is heading and one is paragraph, and I have added two buttons as sign in and sign up, and I have added image which is required for this I have already downloaded and it is there in the folder, and one is background image. So all these things I'll be styling. So before styling, let us see how the web page looks without styling. So this is a sentence, these are two buttons, and these are two images. So before starting, let me style the image. Let me set the image. Okay, so let me search for the class of the image. So class of the image is dot web img web img. So I will set a height of, I'll set a height of 350 pixels. See, now the image size has been reduced. Now the next thing we can do, just like how we did in navigation bar, we have to use a display flex so that it will be aligned in a flex direction. So how to align in flex direction? So the container containing all of it. So the intro section contains all of it. So I'll be using, okay, not intro section, the first section. So the first section contains all of it. Container, the opening and within the opening and closing tag, the things that is there in the within the opening and closing tag. So within section there is all the things contain, and I want the even the image. So it is within the section opening and closing tag. So all this I want to be aligned in a straight line. So what I'll do is I'll use this class name, and the process is same. Display as flex. Display as flex. Yeah, yeah. See, all the things will get aligned in a straight line. So now I want to give a space around it. So I'll be using the same property as dot 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 second comma. This is second class dot second comma, and one more is I want to even change the image img. There is nothing specific that class name should be the same. You can write anything as a class name. So I'll write a flex as one, so that it will be divided into two properties. I guess this class name is not similar. Display flex. Okay. Yeah, the image has been this has been applied. Styling has been applied. So let us style the so let us even style this text. So for style texting, so there is one more type in which you can style the text. That is by using the second property. So now I'll use the second property as dot second. That is a class. See, there is a class. So there is a class, and I want to use the second, which is there within the second. I want to use a h1 tag. So I'll call it as second h1. So without calling class, I can style it. So I'll set a height. So I'll set a okay font size. I'll set a font size as 400 pixels. 400 will be more. So I'll set it as 40. Then font weight, one more property called as font weight. So font weight refers to the thickness of the font, how thick you need it. So I'll set it as 500. So font color. So font color is just a color property, just by using color, and you can set it as I'll set the same color for color 49664. See, the font has been changed. The font color has been changed. So I'll use the same properties for the another. So that is for paragraph. There is one more paragraph for second one. That is this part. I'll be styling for this part. So by using, I'll reduce the font size to 20, and the color will be the same. Okay. See, this is for H1 itself. So I'll change it to paragraph. See, for both the this has CSS has been applied. Now what I have to do is I have to set a height and I have to align all the things in all the things to a center. So to do that, what we should do is we should take the main container that contains everything. So within the section intro and section, so this has all the things. So this section has all the things. Okay. So I'll be styling the okay. Intro is already defined, so I'll be writing here itself the same method which I had used earlier. So I'll set a width of 95%, and the height of 80 VH. So viewport height. So I'll set a margin as auto so that it will be divided equally. Margin as auto, height as width, and align items center. So that all will be aligned center. See, see here all the aligned has been aligned to center, and even the image has been applied. So even the side margin has been set to auto. Now what we have to do is we have to design the buttons. So before designing, let me explain all the properties that comes in the buttons. So for button, we can set a background color as either it may be two types, like one is filled buttons and it is a transparent button. So the one you can see at the bottom is a transparent button and one at the top is a filled button. Then you can even reduce or increase the font size. You can either change the padding or even the border radius. So what is border radius is at the end, at the corners, if you want a pointed end, you can set a border radius of 0. If you want a curved end, you can set increase the value of border radius. Then border property, that is just to add border. Then box shadow. If you want to make a button as a 3D, you can use a box shadow. So let us design this button. So button I have already declared. So before starting, so let me add a buttons. Let me make a margin for buttons. Dot buttons. So this class. So I'll set a margin. So set a margin of. I'll be using four-way margin property like I had explained earlier. So I need a margin. So I need a spacing at the top. So I need here spacing. So what I'll be doing is I'll be setting as 50 pixels. So first at the top, then at the right, 0 pixels at the right, then at the bottom, 0 pixels, then at the left, 0 pixels. So this is the four-way type. So this change has been applied 50 pixels to top of the both the buttons classes. Now let me design individual buttons. So to design individual buttons, individual class we should take. So this is sign in. So dot sign in. Okay, first let me set height and width. Height, I'll set it as 40 pixels. Width, I'll set it as 130 pixels. Okay, height and width has been set. So after height and width, one thing we can do is we can set background color. Background color. So I'll do a transparent type of button. Transparent. Background color is transparent. Then border property. Just by setting border. So border in three-way we can mention it. So first comes the thickness of the property. So that is 1 pixel. I need a border of 1 pixel. Then comes type of border. So I want a solid. If you type here dotted, you'll get a dotted type of border. 1 pixel solid border and the color of the border that you want to add. So I'll be using 6265. I'll be using this color. So the same color I'll be using even for the text color because it is a transparent button. Just color. Right. Color as same. So either you can call it individually, or if you're going to use more than 5 times or so, you can create a separate variable and you can call that variable itself. So color, I'll set a font size of 14 pixel. So all the properties that I had explained in buttons. So yeah, let's must do it. So now it is a pointy end. So if you want to make it to a curved end, just set a border radius. So border radius, I'll set it as 5 pixels. See the border radius. Now this button looks a bit attractive. So let's do the same thing for another button, but this time I'll do it as a filled button. The only thing that will be different is now I should change the class name because it is different class name. So styling is different. So I'll make sign up. So I don't want it background as transparent. So I'll take this color and I'll add it to this. So the background is filled. Now even the font color is same. So let me change it to white. So I'll change it to white and border let it be. It won't be visible. Okay, that's it. Only two changes. So now this change has been applied. So this is fill type and this is empty type. So all the properties has been applied. Even the image has been applied. So the last part is how to add a background. So CSS background plays a major role. It may be a live background or a static background. So it has a different properties. Background color and opacity. Opacity is the brightness of the image that is present. Then background image, background repeat, whether it should repeat or not. Then attachment, whether it should be fixed or it should work on scroll, or background position and size. In this image, you can see static position. Static position means the image will be present. As you scroll, the image will go up. And one is if the position is set to relative, it will be relative to the other image. The other image won't move. With respect to that image, the changes will be applied to the position image. Absolute position type, if you set to absolute, that will be using now. If there is two images, if you want to set it if you want to set one at back and one at front, we can use position type as absolute. Then if it is fixed, it will be the image will be there itself. Even if we scroll, the content moves, but the image does not move. So that is the position property as fixed. So let me add a background. So dot background. It's okay. So this is the background image. So I have already defined back image. The back image. So before adding back image, let me remove all the corner. So if there is any top, I'll set it as 0 pixels. So right as 0 pixels, left as 0 pixels. So now all the sides, all the directions which is required, I have done it as 0 pixel. Then now I have to set the width as 100%, so it takes the entire screen width. So now the width has been set. Now position that I have explained before. Position I'll set it to absolute because these are two images I wanted at the back. So now let us see how it is visible. See, now the image is covered at the front side. All the content is there in the back side. Now I have to put it to back side. So what I have to do is there is a property called as Z index. Z index. By using the Z index property, and it moves along the Z axis. So if you set it as -1, it goes to backside. Now it has gone to backside. So let me set opacity, which I had explained, opacity, brightness. So I'll set it to half of it, 0.5. Now the opacity has been reduced. So this is a project that was explained in this webinar session. So there is one more property. This is just a static web page. This is not a responsive web page. So there is something called as okay, I'll see a console. So console, this I had explained in the page. So as you increase or decrease the length, see if the for different devices there will be a different width. As you can see here, this is the device width which keeps on varying. So suppose the device width is small, all the things will get collapsed. So in before how the website used to be is, so in the before website they used to design separately for mobile view one website and for web page or different website. So now there are few properties and now there are different frameworks or libraries that can help you with this. Just by creating one website, we can make the changes. It will adapt to itself. One such property is called as media. So I have already written the code. I'll just use the same. So this is a media property. Okay, this is a media property where we use media and we have to set a maximum width. So maximum width I have set it to 1024 pixels in terms of pixels. So what this states is from 0 to 1024 pixels, these CSS will be applied. not for all the things we need to change in the styling. So the color will be the same even if it is in phone view or mobile view. So we need changes for this image. This image should become small, and all these things should get aligned. So only for that we can set a property. So here you can see the width. So so now I'll apply the media property. So media property, the web image height should reduce to 250. So if the width is below this, these css will get applied. So web image height 250, then flex direction. So this is a property called as flex direction. So now it is horizontal. So okay, now it is in a form of row, horizontally. So if you want it in a column, that will get aligned in a vertical column. So text align center. So this gets all the text to a center. So now if the length is reduced below, all the things will get aligned. So this is called as responsive web page. So just by using a media element, just by using media element and setting max width and setting the pixels, you can make it as responsive. So just by increasing or decreasing, we can make the web page responsive. So one more alternative is Bootstrap. This is a website, Bootstrap. Even this is a link. You can download the package and use the link, framework libraries. Here you will get multiple button group, button class, batch. So here you can use these properties in your web page, Bootstrap. So yeah, that will be the end of the explanation. So what to study next? So after mastering CSS and HTML, you can study JavaScript in depth. You can study about modern JavaScript. And under JavaScript, there are a lot of frameworks you can study in depth. That is front end related to front end, React.js and AngularJS, backend Node.js and Vanilla.js. Nowadays, React.js and Node.js, like those languages are required more because of artificial intelligence and machine learning. Those languages are important. React.js, Node.js, and even Python. So the other languages that are used in web development are PHP, jQuery, and JavaScript. PHP, jQuery can be used for small sending email. So those things. So before PHP, jQuery was used in large because of those languages. Those language was flexible in those times. After this, after React, Node.js has come to replace this. So these languages has been used for. So it's better to study these languages like React, Node.js, etc. So that will be the end of webinar session. If you have any doubts or questions, you can ask. Thank you. I hope you liked it. Can I get a job by learning HTML, CSS, Bootstrap, and jQuery? Yeah, like if you want, like nowadays the more flexible is for web applications. So just by studying HTML, CSS, JavaScript, it will be a bit difficult. You want to study other languages like React.js, AngularJS, then there is a chances like can connect. Okay, which language should learn for beginners? Yeah, for beginners you can start with HTML, CSS, and then with JavaScript. I think both are the same. AngularJS is a framework. See, it is the same AngularJS. So there are different frameworks. The JavaScript has been divided into many frameworks. To make it more flexible, it has been divided. So yeah, AngularJS is just a framework of a front end. So there is no separate thing like Angular and AngularJS. Yeah, next we'll be conducting JavaScript sessions after CSS, after this session. Yeah, scope of Merge Stack developer. So
So basically, a MERN stack is nothing but is related to your JavaScript development itself. So you can give your opinion on how the JavaScript helps in the future.
yeah, it includes basically.
Siddharth,
Yeah,
Siddharth, about one stack, it's good if you know all the, I mean, Mongo, React, and Node.js. You will get a lot of values if you're a full stack developer, and learning in that direction is really helpful too.
okay, you need more info about Bootstrap. So Bootstrap. Suppose if you want some components in an element. Suppose you want a navigation bar. Just use there is a component in a Bootstrap stating that a navigation bar. You can use the same. You can use the same component. By using Bootstrap, you can it gets aligned on it itself. There is no need of writing separate media coding for using Bootstrap. It is a framework of CSS, Bootstrap. It will get aligned on its own for different devices. Suppose if it is a mobile device, it gets changed, and suppose it is a tab device, it gets changed on its own. For a student of computer science, beyond the college curriculum, yes, what should I learn? So okay, so computer science student. I hope you have. I hope you have C language. So Angular and React. So both are the framework of JS. So the more important, like so, suppose there is a web application if you want to build. So you can see the advantages. So based on that web application, which framework will be more helpful, whether it is Angular or React. So whichever you study, that is good. Even if you just study React, you can build a web application, or just by studying Angular, you can build a web application. If you know both, then that is very good.
Okay, Jess. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you,
That's a
guys.
very
Thank
good
you.
session. Excellent. We'll catch up in the community page, guys. Yeah.
Thank you.
Bye bye.